Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to dive into something we literally all do every single day, but probably don't think about nearly enough: eating. We're going to explore the absolute magic and the fascinating science of what we eat, where it comes from, and exactly how it impacts our bodies. I mean, we interact with food constantly, right? But rarely do we stop to think about the incredible journey it takes just to get to our plates, or that microscopic magic it performs once we actually eat it.
So, to kick things off, let's look at this beautiful ancient Sanskrit proverb, Anan Jatani Javanti, and that translates to, food gives life to living beings. It sounds super simple, right? But it actually carries some profound wisdom. You know, as nutrition expert Dr. Poshika reminds us in our source material, health is our ultimate wealth. If we don't give our bodies the right fuel, they simply can't thrive. It's really that straightforward.
Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. Food diversity. 2. The core nutrients. 3. Protecting our bodies. 4. Crafting a balanced diet. And finally, 5. The farm-to-plate journey. Let's get started.
Section 1. Food diversity. Now, before we look inside our food at the chemical level, we kind of need to look at what's actually sitting on our plates across different regions. And India, well, it brilliantly illustrates how incredible our food diversity really is. The traditional food of any state is heavily based on the crops grown right there locally, which is entirely dictated by the local soil and climate. So, up in Punjab, where wheat and maize thrive, you see these hearty dishes like makki di roti and chole bhature. Down south in Karnataka, rice and coconuts are abundant, and that gives us idli, dosa, and ragi mudde. Or look at Manipur, where bamboo and soybeans shape totally unique dishes like iromba and zingju. Our environment literally dictates our culinary traditions. How cool is that? But, it's not just what we eat that's evolved, it's how we actually make it. Technological developments have completely transformed our kitchens over the years. We've moved away from cooking over a traditional earthen chula and manually grinding spices on a stone silbata, right? Now we're using modern gas stoves and electrical grinders. It saves an immense amount of time for sure, but it's a great reminder of how food preparation is this constantly evolving technology.
Section 2. The core nutrients.
Okay, now that we've looked at the macro level of diverse diets and cooking, let's zoom all the way in to the micro level to understand exactly what gives these diverse foods their life-sustaining power. Honestly, everything you eat is essentially a delivery system for nutrients. These are the biochemical components that give you energy, support your physical growth, help repair damaged tissues, and protect your body from disease. The main categories we absolutely need to function are carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals.
Let's look at our body's fuel first. Carbohydrates and fats are known as our energy-giving foods, but they do their jobs in totally different ways. Carbs, which you'll find in things like wheat and potatoes, provide instant, accessible energy. I mean, that's exactly why you'll see a marathon runner chugging glucose water during a race. Fats, on the other hand, which are found in nuts and ghee, act more like a dense, stored energy source. Think of polar bears. Right? They rely heavily on a thick layer of fat just to survive their months-long winter hibernation without eating a single thing.
So, the crucial point here is that while carbs and fats give you energy, proteins are your body's actual building blocks. They are literally called bodybuilding foods. Growing children, athletes, or really anyone needing to build or repair muscle tissue absolutely needs protein-rich foods. And you can get this from plant sources like pulses, beans, and peas, or animal sources like milk, eggs, and paneer. The truly amazing thing is, you don't just have to take my word for it, you can literally see this science happen right in front of you. If you ever want to test a food item for protein, you just make a little paste of it in a test tube. Then you add 2 to 3 drops of copper sulfate solution and follow that up with 10 drops of caustic soda solution. If the mixture turns a distinct violet color, boom, there it is. That's your chemical proof that protein is present in that meal. It's basically magic, but, science.
Moving right along to Section 3. Protecting our bodies.
Beyond just energy and building blocks, our bodies desperately need an internal defense system. And that brings us to our protective micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. To really understand how vital these are, listen to this unbelievable historical anecdote. Way back in 1746, sailors on long voyages frequently suffered from a horrific condition that caused bleeding and swollen gums. Well, a Scottish physician named James Lind discovered that simply feeding these sailors lemons and oranges cured them entirely. They were suffering from scurvy, which is a deficiency disease caused entirely by a lack of vitamin C. A long-term lack of any of these essential protectors leads to some seriously bad deficiency diseases.
Vitamin A, which you can get from papaya or milk, is crucial for your vision. Lacking it actually causes night blindness. Lacking vitamin B1, found in whole grains, leads to beriberi. Lacking vitamin D, which we can actually just get from sunlight or fish, causes soft, bending bones known as rickets. And of course, we need minerals like calcium from dairy for strong bones and teeth, and iron from leafy greens to maintain healthy blood and prevent anemia.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how a massive public health crisis was solved with one simple dietary tweak. Back in the 1960s, communities in the Himalayan region were suffering from goiter, which is a severe swelling of the neck. The cause? The local soil completely lacked the mineral iodine. So to fix this on a massive scale, the government mandated that common, everyday salt be fortified with iodine. By simply changing the salt everyone used, they drastically reduced the disease. Talk about a real game changer.
We also definitely can't forget about roughage, or dietary fiber. Interestingly enough, fiber provides absolutely zero nutrients to our body. Nothing. But along with water, it is totally essential. Found in fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, it acts almost like an internal broom, ensuring smooth digestion and helping the body get rid of undigested waste. You absolutely need it in your diet.
Section 4. Crafting a balanced diet.
So, how do we bring all of this incredible biochemistry together to create the perfect plate of food? It really comes down to a clear comparison. A balanced diet isn't just about eating enough food, it's about eating the right proportions of all those essential nutrients, plus that roughage and water we talked about for proper growth. On the flip side, we have junk food, like heavily processed potato wafers. Sure, they're packed with high calories, sugar, and fat, which gives you energy, but they severely lack proteins, vitamins, and minerals. Frequent consumption of these foods just doesn't build your body up. It leads directly to obesity and complex health issues.
If you want a masterclass in balanced, healthy food, look no further than millets. These are native crops to India, like jowar, bajra, ragi, and sanwa. They are literally called nutri-cereals because they are absolute nutritional powerhouses, completely packed with vitamins, minerals like iron and calcium, and dietary fibers. Even better, they are highly resilient and easily cultivated in all sorts of different climates, making them a fantastic, sustainable choice for a truly balanced diet.
And finally, Section 5. Farm-to-plate journey. We've looked deeply at the micro world of nutrients, but now let's zoom all the way back out to the macro world to see how our food choices actually impact the planet. Every single bite of food you take has a hidden environmental cost, and it's measured in something called food miles. This is the entire distance a food item travels from its place of production, the farmer's field, all the way to you, the consumer, the whole shebang.
Just look at the journey of a simple piece of bread, or a chapati. It takes months for a farmer to grow and harvest the wheat. Then it takes days to thresh and store those grains safely. After that, it takes hours to grind that grain into flour and pack it, and more hours to transport it on trucks to retail shops. All of that immense effort, time, and travel happens before you spend just a few minutes cooking and eating it. It's kind of wild to think about. And this is exactly why mindful eating involves minimizing our food miles. By choosing to eat locally grown, plant-based foods, we drastically cut down on transport costs and the environmental pollution from big trucks and ships. It directly supports the farmers right in our own communities, and as a huge bonus, the food gets to us fresher and healthier. Plus, understanding this massive journey fosters a really deep respect for our food, reminding us to only take what we need and never, ever waste it.
So, I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up today's explainer. Take a really close look at your next meal. How many food miles are sitting on your plate right now? And what small choices can you make tomorrow to reduce them? Thank you so much for joining me to explore the fascinating world of mindful eating. Until next time, stay curious and eat well.